Hello everyone and welcome to week 1 of the playoffs. I am Evan, head coach of the Saffron City Sneasels, and round 1 of the playoffs I matched up against Casey of the Seafoam Island Squirtle Squad. This is a rematch from the final week of the regular season where Casey ended up defeating me 6-2. I was very upset about that loss. Casey outplayed me and I was sad to see a loss end my season. That way because I was undefeated to that point and I was hoping to go undefeated for the second straight season. So Casey was a bit of a spoiler. He needed that win to make it into the playoffs and he did, so he gets to face me again. Going into this match, I was very excited to get my revenge. I spent a lot of time prepping for his team and I felt very confident going into this match, so let's get into it. So Casey has a very scary team. He has a lot of Pokemon that can set up as sweepers, so I had to be very wary of that. I start off with my Linguini because I see he did not bring his superior. My Linguini, if his superior is handled, is able to tank anything I think his team can throw at me, barring some very bizarre set I'm not ready for. So he opens up with his Nidoqueen, and I force out because of my water typing, and he goes out to Scizor. Now, Scizor can certainly knock me off, take away my leftovers, but Scizor can't really do anything to me. I have my Scald, which I'm hoping to get a burn on, and on top of that, if he starts setting up Swords Dances, I do have Haze. So I feel very comfortable with this situation. I'm going to just continue to click Stall and see what happens. He does go for the knockoff, so it seems like it's a similar Scizor to the one he used last time he played me. Losing my leftovers is a little annoying, but as far as the Pokemon on my team go, this is one of the better Pokemon to have an item knocked off of, because I still have Recover to gain that HP back if I need it. I get the Scald on the third attack, as he goes for a Roost. So at this point, Scizor is probably going to be dedicated only as a knockoff user and a U-turn pivot, because I've pretty much crippled this thing. Seeing that he can't really do much to me, I believe this is where he switches out with a U-turn. I go for the Recover just to make sure I'm nice and fresh with my HP. I gotta be more careful now that I don't have my leftovers. It does very little damage to me, and out he goes to Lola Bunny. This thing is a big threat. He did not bring it against me in week 14, but it's something you always have to fear. However, I'm going to stay in for this one because I know I can take at least one hit from anything this thing's got. So I'm expecting a Fake Out, and I want to see how much it does. And it does more than I expected. I figured, okay, I can recover, but then I started to second guess myself, and I thought it was too close to call on. If he got a high roll or a crit, he could end me, and my Melodic was so essential to my win condition. So instead I go out to my Togekiss, and it takes a huge amount of damage from Last Resort, a unique idea that I did not expect. Last Resort, of course, has base 140 damage, and it's stab, so it's going to hit crazy hard, but that means he only has 2 moves on this Pokemon, Fake Out and Last Resort, so I know my Ferrothorn will be able to answer this thing, and I pretty much know this thing's entire set right away, which is awesome. My Air Slash almost KOs, but it does get the flinch. I am Choice Scarfed because clearly I was faster than the Lopunny there. He goes out, and I do miss my Air Slash against the Scizor. I have to switch out, fearing a Bullet Punch, and I go out to my Ferrothorn. He just goes for the knockoff anyway, hoping to remove my Scarf probably. I have to remember that my Togekiss is at very low HP now, so if rocks go up, Togekiss will die, because while I normally do bring a Defogger, this week I did not. I figured I could live with rocks because I just had to prioritize so many other things. My Latias, and my Ferrothorn and my Togekiss can all learn Defog, but on all 3 of them I really needed all 4 moves. So I got for the Leech Seed when he brings out his Nidoqueen, and this reminded me of last week's matchup. Last time he went for a Fire Blast and I protected, and then I was thinking that he would know I'd have to get out, so he would either switch to a different move or switch out himself for a double switch, so I tried to be cheeky and went for a Leech Seed. Unfortunately, he just clicked that Fire Blast again and killed my Ferrothorn in 1 hit. So I go for the Protect, and he goes for the Stealth Rock. He was probably predicting me to switch out or Protect. And now I am going to switch out because I'm still not ruling out that he has a Fire Blast on this Pokemon, and I go out to Rocket the Latias, who will be able to handle this thing very well. I do take that Stealth Rock damage, which means my Togekiss will just be free switch-in bait now as a sacrifice. And he does go for the Fire Blast, so I was right to switch out to Rocket. And any of that damage I take, I heal right back with the Leech Seed. And my Latias this week is very unique. I have Tailwind, as well as a few attacking moves and a unique spread of EVs that allow me to tank what I need to tank and outspeed every single Pokemon on his team with a Tailwind up. So he's got his Scizor. He's probably hoping to U-turn me or tank a Draco Meteor or a Psychic, but I've got Hidden Power Fire this week specifically for the Scizor. I remembered he used Scizor as his counter to my Latias last week, and I wasn't going to allow that to happen again. So down goes the Scizor, and I'm feeling pretty good. I do have my Tailwind up. I'm keeping track of my Tailwinds. And he goes out to Lola Bunny. I know he has to Fake Out here. And knowing that, I should have gone out to Ferrothorn here. I do let Rocket just take the damage. I don't know. I think I could have done that a little bit better. I think, yeah, in hindsight, I maybe should have just jumped out of there. But Rocket was able to take a last resort even at that much HP, so I felt okay. He does just go out to the Mew, though. My Tailwind peters out. And I'm not sure what this Mew's deal is yet, so I got to switch out to Scout. And I go to my Tapu Koko. This week, my Tapu Koko is actually defensive in nature. I normally don't run Tapu Koko this way, but I felt that this would give me the best chance to win. I'm running dual screens with Light Clay, Roost, and Volt Switch. He goes for the Ice Beam, and he freezes me, which was extremely upsetting. However... Oh, and I was faster. So, I'm pretty sure he's Choice Spexed. And he just gets the KO. So, that's a bummer. I don't even get to use my fun Koko set. And I'm a little annoyed with that freeze. And then I bring out my Linguini. I know I can tank an Ice Beam, and I'm just going to use this opportunity to recover. He switches out, which tells me he probably doesn't have a good coverage move, or he's Choice Locked. I come to the conclusion that he is Choice Locked later. Razzle Dazzle comes out against the Linguini. Perhaps he was expecting a double switch, because otherwise this is not a very good matchup for him. But he decides to just stay in here. Maybe he feels like he needs to get as much damage as possible on the Linguini. But I'm able to handle that Sludge Wave very well. And I see he's got a Life Orb, which is bonus for me, because no Focus Sash means you're going down with the Scald. And he's down. So Salazzle has been vanquished, meaning Ferrothorn is going to feel a little bit more comfortable, and I don't have to fear that nasty Plot Sweep. He brings back out the Kawaii 5-0, which makes me think, okay, he is Choice Locked because he's had this matchup before, and now he wants it again, so he must have a different move ready for me. So I bring out the Rage Quit to just Sacrifice and Scout. The Togekiss goes down to the Stealth Rocks, and I believe it's the Volt Switch that we see. Yes, so Volt Switch once again reinforces that he is choiced, because that is a great move for a choice Pokemon. And knowing that he's locked into Volt Switch, I can bring out the Latias for free, basically, because I can easily handle a Volt Switch. He goes for the Volt Switch. He is faster, which I believe indicates that it is a Scarf, actually, not Specs. I'm not full speed, but I have enough speed. And he goes out to the Nidoqueen, Yasqueen, and I go for my Tailwind again. This way I am able to outspeed his entire team, including a Scarf Mew. And he lets his Nidoqueen die here to a Psychic, hoping to get a free switch in. So I'm feeling pretty good right here. This is exactly how I want this stuff to go. Next up comes Lola Bunny. I know it can only use Fake Out. So this time I do go out to the Ferrothorn, which is the right move. And with my 3-peat tanking this Fake Out, this should just KO the Pokemon in return. And that's exactly what you're going to see here. Boop. And doop. There he goes. Down he goes. He has been downed. Lola Bunny, she vanquished. Kawaii 5-0 comes back out, which tells me that it's probably got a fire move on its moveset somewhere. Which means I think it's safe for me to bring out the Linguini, but I'm going to Scout just to be sure, because I do have to protect, and I know he's not going to have a setup thing to take advantage of. So it is the Fire Blast. Knowing it's the Fire Blast, Melodic is going to come in safely. Of course, I could have just gone straight to the Melodic, but if it was Volt Switch, it would not have KO'd, but it would have hurt. So, Linguini comes back out. My objective here is to basically recover, make sure I don't lose the Melodic, continue recovering, and every single time that I get my chance to breathe, I'm going to throw a Scald off in between more recovers to stay nice and healthy. So you're going to see several turns of that. I know that I do have the Pokemon advantage, but I cannot risk in a playoff match the possibility of getting greedy, trying to get an extra Scald in there when I could be recovering. So yeah, I do go for that extra recover here. On the next one, I am going to go out to Scald, and I believe this is the turn that he goes out to his Mamoswine, which is good for me. So Tusker comes in, the Pokemon that ruined me last week. Last week he was Choice Scarfed. I did not expect a Choice Scarf Mamoswine, I was flat out surprised by it. I considered Mamoswine when I first saw it, and I figured this Pokemon learns Ice Shard in its stab. You wouldn't run a Choice Scarf on a Pokemon with a priority move. But he did, and it worked out really well for him. He probably just didn't have Ice Shard on the set. So I do tank the Earthquake. It does over half. I am able to answer with the Scald and kill the thing that basically ruined me last week, so that just felt good for me in my emotional zone, which is right below the heart, slightly above the stomach, and to the right. Here comes the Volt Switch on the Melodic, and I do just heal that up, and you're going to see these last few turns is just me doing like what I said I was going to do before, recovering, taking the Volt Switch, recovering, taking the Volt Switch, recovering, or Scalding, and so on and so forth. So that is going to be the end of the match. He does eventually kill the Melodic, as I don't want to waste Casey's time too much, and I could have just kept recovering, but I let him KO me here, so I can just bring in my Ferrothorn, and that's going to end the match when it does happen. Very good match, Casey. I feel very good about getting my revenge. Revenge is a dish that can be served many different ways. It doesn't just have to be cold. Next week, I'm taking on Nick, our commissioner, in the conference finals. That one should be a very good match. That was one of my closest matches of the regular season. If you haven't watched that match, check it out. It's a very good one. My Stoutland, Mr. Mustache, missed an Ice Fang, which would have made the match probably not as close, but after that miss, it ended up becoming a real nail-biter. So yeah, here's what you're going to see then. Is I do get the burn here, and then the Synchronize gives me the burn, so that also just... That's, you know, not much to say about that, really. I do get the Marvel Scale boost. I was using Marvel Scale, not competitive. They're both good abilities. And then, yeah, that's going to do it. Meanwhile, in the other conference, Cheryl's taking on the winner of Jacob versus Raul. I'm excited to see who is going to be facing off against Cheryl next week. Playoffs are really popping off now. Oh yeah, at the very end of this match, whatever move I click for 3P doesn't matter. I did just go for spikes. I really, there was no reason. There's no reason to use spikes. There's no reason to use any move, really. I just clicked a move. I wasn't trying to like BM or whatever. All right, that's gonna do it for this match. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day.